We have our senses: eyes, nose, you can smell things, you can hear things, you can feel things, things to sensory neurons. So it's you should view it as stimulus and response. So motor neuron allow you to respond to the environment. Okay? Allow you to walk, allow you to grab, allow you to fight, allow you to do all type of motor movements. Without motor neuron, you wouldn't be able to move because motor neuron stimulate muscles for you to contract the muscle to make some sort of movement, either to grab, to throw, to do whatever you want. Sensory neurons take information from the environment and send the information upstairs for interpretation. But one thing we have to keep in mind though, sensory neurons take information from the environment, but we don't realistically have access to the environment. So the information we receive, nothing but interpretation, something we create in our mind. I know it sounds really weird, but everything you have in your head, nothing but an interpretation, a wiring, something you create in your head, your perspective. Okay? So your point of view or the way you perceive the world. Nothing but interpretation. But the thing about sensory neurons, although it takes information, it only understands like, okay, you know what? Is it pleasurable, painful, cool, hot, and the rest create in your mind. Okay? So, but we have other neurons that I want to cover because last time I did not cover them. I only talk about sensory neurons and motor neurons, but we do have also interneurons and mirror neurons. They're very important to understand, guys. Extremely, extremely important to understand. Okay, so interneurons, they are responsible for reasoning. You're thinking neurons. You're able to think because of the interneurons. You're able to strategize. You're able to imagine things. You're able to see a picture in your head because of interneurons. Mirror neurons, on the other hand, it fires. It literally release chemicals when you perform an action and when you observe someone else performing the same action. Let me explain it a little bit better. So let's say if it's an action you usually perform, you know what it's like, you know what it feels. But if someone else performing the same exact action, you able to mirror the same thing because your brain runs a simulation of the other person experiences using its own neural machinery, basically neural pathway, neural, connection patterns. Okay, so we're gonna go on the board. I'm gonna talk more about neurons, but I just want to cover some stuff real quick. Guys, we're not gonna rush this. We're talking about difficult information. So I want to take my time, I want to relax and just drop knowledge. Okay. Listen, if you need to go get yourself a nice hot chocolate or something to relax your mind while you're enjoying this information, do it real quick because I'm going to drop a lot of examples, a lot of great knowledge, and hoping you guys will be able to understand how your system behave internally. Okay, you know about the external behavior. When you arguing with someone, when you ready to fight someone, or when you communicating with someone but the thing is, the internal self, the inside of the self, you need to know how it also behaves. Okay, so now in the beginning of the episodes, like the first episode, what we start with, the foundation, guys. Very important to remember the foundation where we start off. Remember, feelings. I'm gonna start with feelings. Okay, something trigger a feeling, a stimulus. Right now, I'm drinking hot chocolate, and it has, I think, a little bit of caffeine. Not the coffee caffeine, but whatever. Caffeine's caffeine. It's a stimulant. Okay, so if you see me a little bit hyper, it's because the stimulant in my system triggering something for me to behave a certain way. Okay? So now any stimulus trigger some sort of feeling. Okay? So the feeling, if it's positive, if you know the feeling benefiting you, if it's something good, you're gonna behave towards it. Okay? Either you grab it or you walk towards it, whatever you do to approach that thing. But if it's something negative, if it's a negative feeling, you're gonna stay away from it. You're gonna pull back. You're gonna run away from it because it's not gonna benefit you. The behavior will save in memories, but with enough experiences, you basically create a thought pattern. You have thoughts, different memories, just line themselves together to create your reality. So what happened whenever you think of something or you imagine something, what's going to happen? You basically trigger the thoughts with the feeling because they work together as a team. If you retrieve a thought, you basically retrieve a feeling. Okay, because they work together and the pattern continue. If you behave towards the picture and the feelings, okay, just to remember, they're basic reminders, guys. They're very important because without the foundation, it'll be very, very difficult to understand. And what I just showed you, believe it or not, very, very basic. But if you want more information about it, I highly recommend you watch the first episode, okay? Because I talk about it in length. I give a lot of great examples. Will literally juggle your understanding, and the more we go further, the better it'll be for you to understand what I'm talking about. Because at the end of the day, to be quite honest with you, they're difficult information, and I'm trying to organize them in a way for you guys to understand. Okay, so the last episode we talk about neurons, right? And basic of the cells. I'm just going to give a basic recap, guys. I'm not going to stick too much in it, but stick with me. Let's have some fun. All right, so the first thing I mentioned, dendrites. Dendrites basically receivers. They receive information, they receive electricity, they receive neurochemicals. Okay, let's say something stimulate your senses. You see something, you taste something, you smell something, you touch something. What's going to happen? It's going to trigger the receptors. The receptors receive the information and like some sort of wave, proton, electron, whatever. I'm not like one of the people for that, but I can tell you that you receive information from the environment, and the information goes to the receivers, the dendrites. Okay, so the dendrites take the information. Of course, the information goes down to like the cell body, and you have the nucleus. Nucleus is very important to understand because they are you, basically. They are the foundation. They are your ancestors' blueprint. Remember, I talked about your ancestors, our ancestors, they give us a code on how to behave. They pass it on to us. Well, all the information that I talked about, they're located in the nucleus. Okay, they're located in the seed. It's the seed. So you look the way you look, or you act the way you act, you respond to information the way you do because of the blueprint, because of the nucleus. So the cell body basically help the nucleus connect with other neurons. Okay, it's the reason you can see all the branches, all the stuff to help connect, to help either receive information from other neurons or send information to other neurons. It's the purpose of the cell body. So the cell body has like bunch of electricity, ions. Then it will just fire. If the what do you call it? If the cell positively charged or negatively charged, whatever, the information will flow down to something called axons, the long cable. Axon, basically the long cable, guys.